Hello everybody, welcome to Totally Tabled. My name is Shaggy, and today I'm doing a full solo playthrough of The Lord of the Rings: Fate of the Fellowship. This is a cooperative game that uses the pandemic system, but it's unlike any pandemic game I've ever played, with objectives and dice combat and just a lot going on. Now I went ahead and I got everything set up for a solo game. I set up the board exactly as shown in the rulebook, with all the shadow troops, Nazgul, the Eye of Sauron, friendly troops all over the map, and our player characters in their starting locations. Now I'm using the recommended setup for your first game, so I have Merry and Pippin, Éowyn, Legolas, and Gandalf, along with Frodo and Sam. You're always going to use Frodo and Sam, but you can select a different set of 4 characters. And for the purposes of this game, Merry and Pippin count as a single character, just like Frodo and Sam. In the multiplayer game, everyone selects 2 characters to play, but with solo, it's a little bit different. I'm also playing with the recommended set of 4 objectives. You can identify them because they're the ones with stars in the upper left corner. For future games, you are able to randomize the 3 objectives, but destroy the 1 ring will be part of every game. Sometimes objectives have special setup instructions that you need to follow. Saruman, your staff is broken, says to place 2 additional shadow troops in Isengard. And Attain the Blessing of the Elves says to place 3 elven troops on this objective card. I'll be playing this game on standard difficulty, which means I placed 5 Skies Darken cards in the player deck. For your first game, play with 4 instead. That's an introductory difficulty. You just want to make sure that you follow the rules to make sure the cards are spaced out throughout the deck. In the solo game, you start with a hand of 4 cards, and these cards will be shared amongst all of your characters. Shuffle up the shadow deck, except for the Wheels of Saruman and the Drums of War cards. Place those in the discard pile. You then want to draw 9 shadow cards and place an extra shadow troop in the location shown at the bottom of the card. Ignore everything else on the card, and then just place them in the shadow discard pile. Lastly, you want to spend an hour doing cardboard origami to build this dice tower, and boom, you are ready to begin. The goal in Fate of the Fellowship is to complete all your objectives before the hope track gets to 0. Frodo and Sam need to get to Mount Doom and complete the Destroy the One Ring objective in order to win the game. But first, you must complete the other objectives. I'll explain all of our objectives in detail as we play. We start with our solo marker on our leftmost character, in this case Merry and Pippin. During each round in the solo game, we can take up to 4 actions with the active character, and then 1 action with Frodo and Sam. And you can do those in either order. The important thing to keep in mind is that Frodo and Sam are never an active character. Instead, they get 1 action each round. In the solo game, there are 5 different main actions you can take, and you can take them as many times as you want and in any order. Characters also sometimes have special actions they can take. For example, Merry and Pippin have Loyal Friend, which lets them, as an action, once per turn, gain 1 friendship token from the supply. I think I'll take that action as their first action. Tokens, just like cards, are shared amongst all the characters. I now want Merry and Pippin to travel. With this action, a character can move to an adjacent location moving along these paths that you see all over the place. As you can see, Merry and Pippin are chilling with Frodo and Sam there in the Shire, and there's all sorts of lines emanating from there. So there's like these basic white lines, you could travel across those, and there's also these thicker colored lines, and those are known as battle lines. You can also consider those roads that you can travel on. When you're traveling on them, you ignore the arrows. The arrows are for troop movement, and I'll show that off here in just a little bit. But for their second action, I'd like for them just to move over to Bree. Now, when a character travels, they can carry with them any amount of friendly troops that they want. So any of the troops other than the red ones. And they can also carry with them other characters. And so if we wanted, we could bring along Frodo and Sam. And in fact, I just moved Frodo and Sam. There we go. That's what I was trying to do. And actually, on second thought, I think I will. Let's have them travel together. So that counts as just one action. Now, something special happens when Frodo and Sam travel, either on their own or if they're sort of brought along with someone else. You must either spend a stealth icon, which is this icon right here, this green one, or if you don't, you have to roll a search check. Search checks are what these black dice are for, and you basically roll a number of dice equal to the number of Nazgul in the region. So right now there's 2 Nazgul in the region. These aren't in like specific locations, but they're just in these different areas. So they move from area to area. And then you'd also have to roll a die for every shadow troop that's in the location that you move to. So in this case, we either have to spend this stealth icon by just discarding the card, or we need to roll 2 dice. And any of this symbol that shows up means we'll lose 1 hope. We'll get a despair. This symbol means that you'll get a despair, lose a hope, unless you're in a haven location. There's also blank sides where you'll lose no hope, and then there's this side, which means that if there's a Nazgul in the area, you take one of them and move them to Mordor. After the roll, you can spend this icon, that's the resistance icon, in order to re-roll one of the dice. And you can do that as many times as you want. So we could risk it and maybe spin this, but I would rather just spin the stealth and not worry about it. So we're just going to discard that, and that let us move without having to roll for search. And that was our second action. We get 2 more actions. From here, I just want Merry and Pippin to travel on their own. They're going to travel all the way to Rivendell. Since they were traveling on their own without Frodo and Sam, we don't have to worry about rolling or stealth or anything. And there we go. That is their 4 actions. But before they end their turn, they're going to do one more thing because they have a special ability which is Distract. It says that at any time, not as an action, and you can do this on any player's turn, they can spend a friendship icon in order to move 2 Nazgul to their location, as long as there aren't already 4 at their location. And so they're going to do that. They're going to they'll spin the card. They'll spin this card. That'll be the friendship icon, and they're going to move these 2 Nazgul away. Now Frodo and Sam get to take 1 action. I simply want them to travel down to Gandalf. Now once again, we would have to roll a search check or play a stealth icon. We don't have a stealth icon. So we're going to have to roll a stealth check, or a search check. I always call it a stealth check. Luckily, because Merry and Pippin moved away those Nazgul, there are none in their region, and there are no shadow troops. So we don't have to roll any dice. It doesn't matter that the eye is there. That's okay. There we go. That is the end of our actions. We now get to draw 2 new player cards. Oh no! And we got a Skies Darkened card right away. Oh my goodness. I can see how this game is going to go. So when this card comes out, you just follow the instructions. And so it says to increase the threat rate by 1. So we have our threat marker there at the top. We're just going to increase it by 1. Then it says, I see you. If the eye is in Frodo's location, which it is, we lose 2 hope. Man, that is unfortunate. If the eye wasn't in Frodo's location, we would then move it to it. And now it's telling us to add 3 of these shadow troops to a specific location. In this case, Southern Mirkwood. And lastly, we need to take the shadow discard pile and shuffle it by itself, and then place it on top of the deck. We don't shuffle it into the deck, we shuffle it on its own and then place it on top. This is that classic pandemic mechanism. And there we go. There's going to be 5 of these. And that was the first one. A little early, and that that might spell doom for us, but let's see. Now, that was just the first card. You don't draw one to replace it, so we're only going to get one of these. And now we finish up the round by drawing shadow cards. And the number of shadow cards that we draw is based on our threat track. Right now, the number under our marker is still a 2, so we're drawing 2 shadow cards. So we'll draw the top one, we flip it over, put it here in the middle, and then we need to look to see what the other card shows. Because it shows the eye banner here at the bottom, we're going to activate the bottom part of this card. If it shows a red banner at the top, then you activate the top. So right now we're just looking at this bottom part, and it says to add a shadow troop in Moria. Unlike Pandemic, every single one of these spaces can contain as many troops as you want. No limit at all. It now says here at the bottom to move 2 Nazgul closer to Frodo. We need to select from the closest, and if there's a tie, we can decide. So it's clearly going to be those 2 that Merry and Pippin moved away. They got distracted, but now they're back. Okay, that was the first card. Now we flip over the second one. Okay, and we got one of these special cards, so we can ignore this. We just do whatever it says on the card, and this is the Wheels of Saruman. We need to choose one of these. We either need to break Oath, which means we need to remove any 2 friendly troops from the board. Or we need to do Doubt, which means one of the players, but in this case just us, needs to discard a total of 2 cards. Cards and or symbols. Definitely don't want to do that. And then our last option is we could despair and lose 1 hope. Definitely don't want to do that. So let's go ahead and just remove a couple troops here. We'll get rid of those 2 dwarven troops, the gray troops. Hopefully that'll be okay. All right, there we go. We can now move these 2 into the discard pile, and we're done with that. And that's the end of the round. We move our token over to the next character. They are now going to get to take 4 actions, and Frodo and Sam will get to take 1. Then we'll draw 2 player cards, then we'll draw 2 shadow cards, and we'll just keep repeating that. Eowyn's going to have a very simple, easy turn. I want her to move to Helm's Deep and bring that troop with her. She's then going to move with both of these troops over to here. And now I want her to muster. This is another one of the basic actions that you can do. And she actually has a special ability when she musters. Normally to muster, you need to spend 1 friendship icon. Then you get to add a troop, of that area. But when she musters in one of these brown regions, she doesn't need to spend that friendship icon. So she can kind of muster for free these brown troops. So I actually want her to muster twice right here. And that's going to be all 4 of her actions. Move, move, muster, muster. Now, why am I doing this? Well, one of our objectives is basically to take over Isengard and turn it into a haven. Right now, it's a shadow stronghold. We want to turn it into a haven by removing all the shadow troops there. And then we have to take a specific action to capture it. We also have to make sure that Rohan here is free of shadow troops. So I'm basically building up an army to go and attack Isengard. Now, Frodo and Sam can take an action, and I'm not sure that they want to. I think they're going to, well, no, actually, I do think maybe they want to move. Things are a little hairy right now. But let's go ahead and move down to Dunland and get away from that eye. Now, once again, we're out of stealth, so we're going to have to do a search check. We have 1 shadow troop, so we got to roll 1 die. And what the heck, let's use our fancy dice tower here. Oh, it's blank. Woo! Okay, so we got away with it. That was lucky. So we're done with our actions. We get to draw 2 cards. Keep in mind that your hand limit is 7. If you ever draw over 7, you have to discard down to 7. Love to see that stealth symbol. We're going to need that. And once again, we're drawing 2 of these. All right, we're looking at the bottom here. We're going to be adding a shadow troop. And then it says to shift the eye to Frodo's region. And if it's already there, we'd roll a search. So it's a good thing we moved away. Okay, and now we see the red flag there. We are looking at the top of this card. So now rather than adding troops, we're going to have troops moving. And this is showing which battle line are the troops going to move on. And all the troops on that particular battle line are going to move. So this is the yellow battle line that ends here and goes up to there. So everyone in that battle line moves up 1. And you want to sort of move them up in reverse order like that. You can see there's some other yellow lines like coming from different places, but you don't worry about any of that. You just follow that particular one battle line. And there we go. We are done. When you do the top of the card, you don't have to worry about any of that bottom stuff. It's that easy. It's now Legolas's turn. He also has a very easy turn. I just want him to move to Rivendell. And as you can see, that last movement there, he's going over a special movement that requires him to spend a stealth. You can't move across there unless you spend a stealth. So he's going to spend that stealth card. So those were 3 of his actions. And now for his 4th action, he's actually going to do the action on this objective, attain the blessings of the elves. It says that as an action, a character can spend 3 friendship icons with another character there. And that's why I had Merry and Pippin move over there. So he's going to spend 1, 2, 3, and complete that objective, just like that. So now the elves that are on this card can go back into our supply. These will now be available for us to muster onto the board. It says that each player with at least 1 character here can take a friendship token. I assume that means I only get 1. And we gain a much needed hope, putting us back up to 5. And there we go. One of our objectives is complete. Now Frodo and Sam are going to move. We're going to join Eowyn here. And once again, it's where you're moving to, so we have no shadow troops, no Nazgul, so we don't have to roll. There we go, 2 cards. And 2 of these. Doing the bottom here. And we're moving 2 Nazgul closer. Gonna be that guy and this guy. And bottom again. So they're moving a little bit closer. That's it. Gandalf's turn. Gandalf is going to muster, and he has a special ability when he musters. He can actually muster 2 troops instead of 1. He still needs to pay a friendship, though, so we'll pay that card, and he'll get to muster 2 troops. There we go. We now have a really nice-sized army to now go march into Isengard. So for the next action, we're going to travel. And I think, yeah, Frodo and Sam are going to stay behind. Everyone else is moving in. It's going to be 6 against 3. Now, the battle doesn't happen automatically. As an action, we have to attack. And so that's going to be our third action, is attacking. What we do is we roll dice equal to the number of troops that we have, but maxed out at 3. So we're going to be rolling our 3 attack dice here. We have a side that will just kill one of the shadow troops. We have a side that will kill both a shadow troop and a friendly troop. We have this side where it'll just kill a friendly troop, but if you're in a haven, then you ignore the result. We're actually in the opposite of a haven. And this side means that if there's a Nazgul in the region, then you have to lose 2 friendly troops. Otherwise, you just ignore it. There is a Nazgul in the region, but luckily Eowyn has a special ability where if this is rolled, she can actually eliminate a Nazgul from the game, just take it out of the game completely, and you ignore the result. So in this case, we're actually hoping to see that result. But let's go ahead and roll. Ooh, okay. Well, we got that result that we wanted. That Nazgul is gone. Gandalf has a special ability as well that during a battle, you can spin these Valor icons. And for each one you spin, you can turn a die to whatever side you want. And basically, any character can spin one of these Valors in order to just straight up remove one of the shadow troops. I actually want to save that. I don't want to use that. Now, the other thing we can do is we can spin this symbol, this resistance symbol, in order to re-roll one of the dice. So I think that does sound like a good idea. Let's do that, and let's re-roll one of these and see if we can't get a better result. Nope, we got a worse result. Well, that was the risk that we were taking. We'll use Eowyn's No Living Man Am I and get rid of that Nazgul. Out of the game. Unfortunately, we are losing 2 friendly troops, but 1 shadow troop. And one thing I always forget is that when you do an attack action, it draws the eye of Sauron. That's a good way to distract the eye away from Frodo and Sam. I think for our 4th action, we're just going to attack again. So we still have 4 troops. 4 to 2, so we're rolling 3 dice. Oh, shoot. That's cocked, and this one fell out, so let's do it again. Okay, there we go. So we'll lose 1, but both of them die. They're very tiny. I'm slightly too clumsy. Okay, and these guys are all in Isengard. Now, we haven't turned it into a haven yet. Like I said, that's a separate action called capture. In order to do that, we need to remove all the shadow troops, and then we have to spend 3 Valor icons, right, as an action, and then we can turn the Shadow Stronghold into a haven. So I'm hoping that we can get those icons before Eowyn's turn, but we'll see. Now, I'm thinking Frodo and Sam are probably just going to hang out where they are. I would like them to move to Helm's Deep, but yeah, I'd rather not spin the stealth right now. So they're going to pass. They're not going to take an action. So here we go. We're going to draw 2. Hey, there we go. And 2 more of these. Okay, so this is the green battle line going towards Helm's Deep. So it looks like they're the only ones. Now that's a particularly bad one because we do have a haven right there. If a haven gets overrun by shadow troops, it automatically turns into a shadow stronghold. And when that happens, you lose 3 hope. If that were to get overrun, we would lose 3 hope and be down to 2. So we may need to quickly get over there with some reinforcements. Oh no, and now speaking of which, Moria to Rivendell. That is a big troop. Okay, luckily that's a long battle line, so it's going to take many rounds for them to get over there, but we can't just leave Rivendell completely unguarded. So yeah, there's a lot more to worry about than just doing these objectives. We also have to protect our various different havens around the map. We now come back to Merry and Pippin's turn. Okay, first and foremost, we're going to do Loyal Friend, get another friendship token. Try to do that as often as possible. And I wonder if we want to just take on this force, like right now. Maybe defending our other haven is probably more critical, because that could happen next turn. Yeah, I think we have to do that. So, and we'll leave Legolas behind in Rivendell to do some mustering. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Now to move across there, we have to discard one of these. That's the third action, and now for the fourth action, we'll attack. I'm sure the dice won't screw me. Oh, yes! So that's 2 shadow troops. We annihilated them. Frodo and Sam are going to stay there. Yeah, they're going to stay there. They're all good. So we're going to get 2 more cards. Yes, that is what we wanted to see. Beautiful. And, ooh, we have the Drums of War. So we're going to add 1 shadow troop to every shadow stronghold in Mordor. Now, I haven't mentioned this, but we have a limited amount of shadow troops in the supply. And if this runs out, anytime you need to place one out and you can't, you lose a hope. So we need to be fighting these shadow troops just to make sure that we have enough in the supply. Those are the 3 shadow strongholds in Mordor. Okay, so that was just 1, and then 2. Adding down there. And we're shifting the eye. Okay, on to Éowyn's turn. This is exciting. We can now capture Isengard and turn it into a haven. That will be Éowyn's first action. We have to spend 3 Valor. And place a haven token on top. And for doing that, we get 2 hope. That brings us all the way up to 7 hope. We have brought it back. That's fantastic. And with that, we've completed this objective. We have a haven there, and there are no shadow troops or shadow strongholds here in Rohan. So boom, we're done. It says that the current player gets a resistance token. And we're going to need these tokens because in order to win the game and throw the ring in Mount Doom there, Frodo needs to spend 5 of these things. But before we can do that, we have to complete this last objective, challenging Sauron. To complete that objective, we need 3 blue troops, 2 brown troops, and 2 green troops right here. So with that in mind, I think let's move. That's the second action. because completing that particular quest didn't require an action. Some require you to take an action, some don't. And I think I'll just do third and fourth action mustering. And again, because of her special ability, she can muster these brown troops without spending a heart. Getting a little crowded in here. Frodo and Sam need to get away from this eye. And so I think I'm going to have Merry and Pippin do their distract. Spend a friendship. And that distraction will allow Frodo and Sam to escape over here with a nice little travel action. There's no one there, so they don't have to roll. We'll just have them kind of loop around, I think. Okay. Ooh, and we got an event card. We can hold on to this, and then we can spend it whenever we want. And it looks like we will get to do one of the following. Gain 1 hope. Ooh, wow. Or re-roll up to 3 dice from a single roll. Wow, okay. So that could be very useful. We might want to hang on to that. And oh no, the skies are darkening. Well, it's a good thing we got away from that eye. This is why you don't want to be near the eye. The threat rate goes up, and now you can see that 3 below. We're going to be drawing 3 cards from the shadow deck now from now on. Not good. The eye will move over, but we avoided losing 2 hope there. That was really good. We're adding 3 shadow troops to... Is that Holland? Oh no. That was probably the worst place that could have come up. I just got added to those troops that are marching towards Rivendell. And now we're going to shuffle this and put it on top. That was pretty quick. I was hoping for a little bit more time before that card came out. All right, those are my 2 cards. We now have to resolve 3 of these. We have more marching. Oh no, they're marching up there to a completely unguarded haven. Okay, we have 2 havens there. It's going through that one that's guarded by just one lone dwarf. And then they're going to hit that other one also. Okay, so that has now become the main threat. Yikes. Okay. And move 2 Nazgul closer to Frodo. This one. That one, I think. Oh no, this did not turn out well. We would shift the eye, but the eye's already there, so now we have to roll a search. We're rolling 2. Oops, drop that one. Okay, we're not in a haven, so that would be losing 2 hope. Now, Sam can spend a heart to ignore one of them. And I say, yeah, let's do that. He's going to spend a heart. We have Sam's aid, so we can ignore one of those. The other one's going to give us 1 less hope. Okay, things are starting to get a little out of hand. I think I just want Legolas in position to help. We have no friendship, so we can't recruit. Yeah, okay, so for his first action, he's going to do his special ability, Walk Softly. He can do this once per turn, basically just get a stealth token. He'll then just move 3 spaces. He has to pay a stealth to cross that special pass, that mountain pass there. Okay, and then he's just going to stay there. Hopefully we can get lucky and those troops won't advance until his next turn. Hopefully then we can do a little mustering, get some forces there to protect, and then maybe he can get back to Rivendell and do some mustering there as well. It's going to be hard to defend this area, but I don't know what other options we have. Now, Frodo and Sam, they're going to move into here. Don't have to roll. There's nothing there. Okay. Those cards might help. We're already at 3 of these. All right, and now we're going to deploy 3 Nazgul from Mordor to the eye. Moria. We're starting to get kind of low there. That could be a huge problem. So now move 2 closer to Frodo. Oh, okay. Move any 2 friendly troops. I think we have to do that. We can get rid of that one for 1. We can get that one away for 2 because we can easily recruit. She can recruit without friendship. All right, that could have been worse. Gandalf. So Gandalf has the ability when he travels alone to move 2 spaces. So for his first action, he's going to do that. And get there for 1. Then second action, he'll carry Frodo and Sam. And we will spend a stealth. I guess third action, he'll move him down as well. Yeah, let's spend that. Yeah, and then fourth action, we're just going to move him all the way. I really don't want to roll. And then Frodo and Sam will just stay there. So those are my actions. All right, that's an event. Orc infighting. You may remove up to 2 shadow troops from 1 location. That is excellent. And then that could come in handy. With another one of those, we could create another haven. Like in Moria. Okay, now 3 of these. We got to dodge a couple bullets here. All right, we now only have 3 in the supply. Not good at all. Okay. Now we're going to shift the eye. Yeah, we're officially down to 1 shadow troop in the supply. So we need to do some fighting. Good thing it's Merry and Pippin's turn. Well, I tell you one thing we can do. We'll just play this right away. That at least puts a couple more in there. Okay, yeah, let's fight. We're going in. And we need a good roll. Okay. Well, luckily there's no Nazgul, so we can ignore that. 1 and 1. And then let's go ahead and spin one of these. And with that, we can just like kill 1 straight away. So there we go. That at least fills up our supply a little bit. We still have 2 more actions. We'll move in there for 3. And we're going to do Loyal Friend for 4. Oh, Frodo. Yeah, he wants to move out of here. He could come down here, really. Yeah, he'll move down here. Nothing around him, so he can move there for good. No, Gandalf will come along. Gandalf will come along. Okay. Now we get 2 cards. All right. I just cleared that place out. These are the closest, so they're just following. Ah. It's hard to shake these guys. Okay, we have movement. This orange line. Oh, all the way through here to Helm's Deep. So there's nothing but these guys. They move in here. Okay, that could have been worse. Moria to here. Yellow line. Oh, that one. Oh, no. Okay, that was a confusing line, but that's how it works. Now that's bad, because this is where we need to go to complete that mission. So we're going to have to kill those guys. Ugh, not good. All right, Eowyn's got a boring turn, I think. Yep, she just needs to move the troops into position. Four moves. And Frodo and Sam will move up here. Once again, don't have to roll. That's great. And... okay, lots of hearts. We also have 6 cards here. The hearts are good because we can now muster. Yeah, Legolas can muster. We can get some protection up there for our havens. We still have 4 in the supply. This is getting a little hairy, but I think we're hanging in there just barely. Also would love some, like, sneak or some stealth, but... more movement. Ooh, this isn't good. Yellow. Okay, I'm glad I moved those troops in there, so at least we can protect ourselves. Ugh, more movement. It's this long winding one, luckily, so it's just these guys are moving into here. And actually, now that I think about it, this eye might need to be up there because we didn't attack up there. And I don't think it's moved since. It doesn't really matter because, you know, we're not here, but I believe that's where the eye should have been because we didn't attack there. Now, because of this movement, that triggers an attack here, right? So when they move in here and they meet a friendly troop, then that's going to automatically trigger an attack. It doesn't bring the eye. The eye only moves when we attack. And the number of dice you roll are equal to the number of shadow troops. So we have 3 shadow troops, so it's 3 dice. Oh, wow. Well, that didn't work out too well. We ignore those, 1 and 1. But that wasn't a haven, so that's good. And that was 2 cards, right? Yeah, so 1 more. Yes, this was what I wanted to see. We would put something in Isengard, but we took Isengard over. So that means this troop does not go into play. But we still do this bottom thing, which is deploy 3 Nazgul from Mordor to the eye. Now, when Mordor is empty, we just look at the largest group, and then we deploy from there. And now they're all even, so we get to choose. Legolas's turn. We have lots of hearts, so we could do just a load of mustering. I want to save at least 1 heart. Okay, great. I think let's let's muster twice. So that'll be 2 hearts. And now I'm going to show the 5th and final action that I haven't shown, and that is called preparing. Preparing allows us to turn a card into a token. So what Legolas is going to do is prepare this card and turn that into this token. Now that's useful because it opens up your hand. You can have as many tokens as you want, but you can only hold 7 cards. So that's one way that it's really useful. Now in order to do this, it's actually a little harder in the solo game. You have to have your character in a haven, which Legolas is, and they have to be in a haven in the matching region. So we're in a haven in Mirkwood, so we can do this. Now in the multiplayer game, you just need to be in any haven. So it is harder to prepare in the solo game, but we're going to go ahead and do that. We get that, and now, when Legolas prepares, he has a little special ability. Keen Shot, once per turn, when he prepares, he can look at the top card of the shadow deck. So we can get a sneak peek of what we're dealing with. And we can see here, the eye is going to shift to Frodo's location. And something's going to come into Dunland. That gave us a little bit of information. And I think for our last action, we're just going to use his walking softly. Get a stealth token. So now we're a little tokened up. That's pretty good. Frodo and Sam, they're a little trapped here at the moment. So I guess they're just going to stay. Yep, they're just going to have to stay. I don't think there's anything that they can really do. Okay, 2 cards. Stealth is nice. Stealth is nice. Yes, okay, Isengard's taken care of. But we're going to roll a search, but there's nothing there to search, so we don't have to roll it. Oh, that's annoying. And then 3 are going to come into this region from the biggest group. Now they're all tied. All right, we're down to 3 again. I think we need to fight. Gandalf's going to move on his own. He's going to go 1-2 for 1 action. He can move twice on his own. Come into there. We need to build up a massive force here to take these guys on. So that was one action. Second action, he can muster 2 instead of 1. Third action, he'll do it again. Fourth action, he could move in, but he can't fight. Maybe... Ooh. Okay, you know what? I take that back. Third action, we're moving in. Fourth action, fight. We got a lot of special abilities in play here, so hopefully we'll be all right. This is going to work. Eowyn has her ability. She can get rid of one of these out of the game. She's taken out 2 of those guys. It's amazing. Then Gandalf can spend as many of these Valors as he wants. He's going to spend 2 of them. And he can actually change these results. So kabam. Kabam. That'll let us take out 2 of them. Still 1 left, but we didn't die. So none of our guys died. That'll work. Frodo needs to move. And I think he's got to move... I mean, he could move into Mordor, but that's a terrible idea. He can move down here. Just roll 1 die. We'll have a move down there. And I think we got to roll the die. I think we got to roll the die on this one. Okay, we'll spin the heart. We'll use Sam's aid. Spin the heart. Avoid that. That was unlucky. Okay, now we're done. Boom. Boom. Three more of these. Okay, and 3 go to the eye. Oh, okay, blue path. Oh no, okay. This is what we were preparing for. It's 2-on-2 with a Legolas. Now it says at any time Legolas can spend the stealth in order to take out one of those shadow troops. That's his sure shot, and it's not an action. It can be done at any time. So he could just spend 2 of these and get rid of those guys, and we don't even roll. Otherwise, we're rolling 2 of these. I could re-roll 1 of them. And then with this, I could get rid of 1. And we really need our stealth, because if you notice in Mordor, in order for Frodo to get through to Mount Doom, he has to spend a ton of stealth. So we really need to be building up this stealth. We also need to be building up these rings, but we haven't gotten many yet. So I think I want to roll, and as long as we kill both of them, then they won't take it over. It doesn't matter if both of our guys die. We just have to make sure there's no shadow troops left. So let's roll, and then we can figure it out from there. Maybe we'll get lucky. Okay, I think that is great. We'll just take that. 2 for 1 is a great exchange rate. And we gotta do one more. Umbar. And 3 more. They're all in there. They're all wedged up in there. My goodness. Quite a traffic jam here at the end. But we're going back to Merry and Pippin. It's all coming to a head. Our hope is still pretty high at 6, so let's see if we can do this. I think I'm going to have Merry and Pippin use this little shortcut, and it's going to cost a friendship. That's 1. Then I'm going to have them go around. I need to save my rings as much as I can. That's 2, 3. The elves are now in place. They're where they need to be. Let's have their 4th action be Loyal Friend. We'll get that heart right back. And Frodo and Sam are good where they are. So we'll call that a turn. Come on, we need rings. Where are the rings? We've had so few ring cards. They're going to all be at the bottom. Okay, still at 3. And 2 move closer. Okay, we have movement. To Riverdale. That's not what we want to see. Okay, that's it, but that huge army is now 3 steps away. I'm not sure what we can do about it, though. Fighting that off is going to be a pain. And 2 more. Right, the eye still hasn't moved, though. That's interesting. It's Eowyn's turn, and I think now we can complete this objective. Let's do 1 fight. Because we have Gandalf here and Eowyn, so I don't think we're in too much risk. I just like to get rid of that 1. Oh, beautiful. So Eowyn can use their special ability, kill another one of these guys. That one's taken out. Okay, we have 4 shadow troops in the supply. I think that will be okay, maybe. Okay, second action, we're moving up there. Gandalf will stay behind. And then third action, we will complete the objective. We have the troops that we need. And now what happens is we would move the eye to this area, but it's already here. And now all the shadow troops in Mordor move to that 1 location next door. Now the result of that is that there's a more clear path for Frodo to get to Mount Doom. And we're down to the final objective. We just got to get that ring into Mount Doom. We've definitely left open a bunch of havens, and we really should sort of spread back out and protect. Yeah, for her last action, she'll move back down with Gandalf. We'll leave the elves behind. Merry and Pippin can maybe take them back up north to protect. And now I'm wondering, what do we do about Frodo and Sam? It's really not safe here. Totally surrounded. I think he's better off coming up here. There are 2 shadow troops there, so let's go ahead and spend this. We don't have to roll. That's great. And we're also back to 5 cards, so we can draw 2. There's a ring. And another ring. Okay. We're maxed out on cards. That's 3 of the 5 rings we need. We're looking pretty good. We're looking pretty good. Okay, we're moving to closer. Let's get these guys over. Yes, Isengard. Not going to happen. 2 more move over. And movement Dunland to Riverdale. Oh no. Green line. Okay, Riverdale is in trouble. Why do I keep calling it Riverdale? Rivendell is in trouble. Well, that's sort of Legolas's problem, isn't it? Okay, I want him to cause a battle to move the eye. We got to get the eye out of here. We have a heart. Okay, first we'll do his walk silently. That's 1. He will muster. Move in. And last action, fight. We'll fight with 2. That moves the eye. And that's the most important part of this. Okay, we'll take that. Definitely not going to re-roll. And now Frodo can move in there. No search needed. Perfect. Okay, we have 7 cards. We're going to draw 1. Okay, very good. Now we have to get rid of 1. I think this is the way to do this. We could just play this event. Do I just want to gain the 1 hope? Re-rolling up to 3 dice could be a big deal. Yeah, I don't want to get rid of that. I think we're going to have to get rid of these, unfortunately. And then we can draw again. And it's an event. Ooh, wow. The current player may do 2 more actions with one of their characters during the do action step this turn. I think we want to hold on to that. All right. Still 3. Okay, shift the eye. Okay, the blue line. To Helm's Deep. Wow, miraculously, there is nobody on that line, so that was lucky. And the top again. Ooh, oh no. Oh, going this way. Okay, that could have been worse. Legolas is taking care of business up there, so we are hanging in there. I'm glad to see those guys go north and not south. It's Gandalf time, man. And honestly, I think Gandalf is going to help Frodo through Mordor. So let's do it. 1 action there. Move through there. We got to do 2 stealth. And normally we'd have to roll, but there's nothing to roll. So we can move through Mordor without having to roll a search. That's crazy. 3 to there. Spin the 1 stealth. Four up there. And then on Frodo's turn to Mount Doom. All we need is 1 more ring. Let's hope for a ring. Yes! Oh, yes. Incredible. Okay, let's hope we survive this. Yes, Isengard, nothing. We do have to shift the eye. Here. And we would roll a search, but there's nobody here to search. And a movement to Grey Havens from Umbar. Umbar. Oh, wow. Going all the way up there. Sneaky path. So we have some fighting here. And this is actually important because this is a haven. 2 shadow troops. That's 2 dice. There's no one here, so we can't mitigate these dice in any way. It's just a roll. Ugh, and there's so many of these guys. This could be a taken haven right here. Oh, it is. Oh, we had some last minute bad luck. Taking out all of them and only one of these guys. So there's 1 left over. That means that haven falls and we lose 3 hope. That is devastating. But I think in many ways we got lucky because none of these Nazgul came in there. And that's going to make all the difference. Merry and Pippin, they're going to do their loyal friend. So we have 1 heart. And there's just simply nothing else that they can really do. It's kind of all or nothing at this point. Yeah, honestly, it's just going to come down to the roll. So it's Frodo's turn, and we are going to attempt to destroy the 1 ring. Here's how it works. We got to use these 5 rings. We have these. Now, all we have to do is survive a final search roll. But in addition to adding, the troops and the Nazgul, we also have to add 1 search die for each missing hope. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're lucky that there's no one there, but that last bit of lost hope there could be the difference in this game. We were close to only having to roll 2 dice and winning automatically. So this one little thing really made this interesting. So we got 5 dice. We can lose 2 hope, and that's it. Now, one thing I could do is play this to get 1 hope. That would get us up to 4, so we would only be rolling 4 dice. And then we could lose 3. That's better, isn't it? That's better than being able to re-roll 3. Oh yeah, absolutely. So let's play this. So we're going to get up to 4. So we're only rolling 4, and we can lose 3. And we only lost 2. And with Sam's aid, we can discard that. We can ignore one of these, so we just lost 1 hope. And there we go. We have destroyed the 1 ring and won the day. And there you have it. That was a complete solo play of The Lord of the Rings, Fate of the Fellowship. I'd like to thank all the financial supporters of Totally Tabled, including the totally radical Hextra, John Kohler, Scott Myers, and Jay Satterwhite, and the totally bodacious Connie Womack. If you're interested in becoming a member, you can join on YouTube or my Patreon at www.patreon.com/totallytabled. You'll gain access to my new exclusive podcast, Table Talk, as well as unboxing videos and whatever extra stuff I come up with. As always, thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.